Welcome. Another good day in the neighborhood at the Flaminpit Show. How you doing, John?
I'm doing okay. It's like cool outside.
You know, it is some strange weather because my friend from down south is coming up in August and she was asking what's the temperature going to be like. And I said, remember, we're in Michigan. We never know from day to day.
Second to second day.
Yeah, and it's already like 60. I got in the car and it said 66. And the weatherman said this is our coolest July in a long time.
Yeah, I got we just me and my friend one of the partners installed a air conditioning unit and behind the wall there, and you got that vent there. You can see it, well, you can't see in the shot.
Mm-hmm.
We're so concerned about that. They were putting it in, it was 85. You know?
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to use that anytime soon.
Well, just hold on to it because, you know, August is yet to come.
I think it could be hotter than, you know what.
It'll probably be hot in September.
It probably will be.
So anyways, today we just want to talk about what's happening in the news. I mean, the news has been going crazy. We got local news, we got news on the news, and it's just crazy. I mean, what do you think about all the planes falling out the sky? I'm scared to fly.
Yeah, it's like I was never gung-ho about traveling anyway.
Oh.
I'm serious. I never did care for, when I was a kid, it was a major ordeal to go up north because my mom and my grandparents didn't get along. That's what we did, to go up north. So it's like the idea of going anywhere after a while just become like, I didn't care to do it. I didn't want to deal with all that hassle.
Right.
Packing all your stuff up, and when you're gone, you're wondering if somebody's breaking your house back here. So it's like I never much cared for it. Another thing is the reason why we haven't. People say you should move to this place, that place, and the reason why I stayed in Flint, not because I had this endearing love for it, it's because I freaking hate to pack. You ever see my house? I got so much stuff, man. I would be packing for decades. Man.
That's crazy.
I might as well just stay here and ride it out. And by the time I get done packing, I'll be done.
Well, you never know. But you know, when we're looking at all the planes, and then they had the last news about the unruly passenger on there talking about blowing up stuff. I'm just wondering what is going on with people, and why did they blow that plane out the sky saying, then they said we didn't do it, and other people, we didn't do it. So somebody did it. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It's just too much stuff going on. It makes you not even want to watch the news anymore.
That's all it is bad news. I mean, it's like people behaving badly.
That's what it is. People behaving badly. I like that.
It's like they have this huge timeout room. I mean, Putin, like a few months ago, everybody was saying how great Putin was.
Right.
Because, he accepted Snowden. And I think Snowden did the right thing. I think he did the only thing he could down in that circumstance. But I mean, now they're like, and you hear I'm saying, everybody's like, who used to have this animosity towards Russia.
Right.
Like, now he's coming. Look at what Russia's doing. I said, Russia hasn't changed, and that guy is a former KGB guy. So don't trust this. This guy's sinister.
Well, they show him riding a horse with no shirt on. They always crack me up because TMZ always have a picture of him riding his horse. He's bareback, and they always put the crazy voices to it and everything. I think that's hilarious because it's like, who cares that he's riding his horse with no shirt on? Is he showing his body or what?
I think that's what it is. It's a very kind of a challenging, I guess the old term would be machismo culture. I mean, in Russia yet. I mean, it's a very male-dominated society.
Oh, I'd be in trouble there.
If you look at the Russian Orthodox Church, which has surged after the communists have fallen away, that's all very, very male-dominated. So it's like and also it's a belligerent form of nationalism he's engaging in. So,
I wonder what his wife looked like. Have you seen her?
No, I'm just thinking about that. I guess he is married, but I've never seen a picture of him.
Maybe because she's male-dominated. She might take the spotlight.
Well, it's like, it's weird because communism is supposed to say that we're all, supposed to have been one of the first things for feminists to grasp about, the equality of the sexes. But I mean, in Russia and the Soviet Union, I mean,
yeah,
it's a kind of they've reverted instantly back to this very, very almost backwards thinking. After fall of communism. I'm not embracing communism. I mean, I hate elements of our own government because they're communist leaning. But
right.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the praise they're heaping up on Putin though after the fall, after Snowden went into exile there.
Well, what happens to a spy or a whistleblower or whatever he's called? What happens to him when they get tired of him in Russia?
Oh, they'll probably figure, and that's not too far. That's a reasonable question because I mean it's.
You figure they're going to take him out to the shed?
Well, actually, I think what they're going to do is the Americans are going to have find somebody in our midst that is one of their spies and and let's face it, we'll never hear about it.
Yeah.
So it'll just be handed back over to them, and and the poor bastard is not going to. It's not going to be good for him. It's not.
They'll probably have one of those lady assassins that come in and swoop him up and get him all relaxed, and then it's over.
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it. I mean, the national security, NSA cannot let that go. They cannot.
Yeah.
Do you see my shirt, by the way? It says NSA.
I was checking it out earlier. I was like, so you joined the other side?
No, it says the NSA, the only brand, the only, what does it say? The only part of government that actually listens, or something like that. But and right after the shirt was made, I got it from Cafe Press. They had I guess they had to cease printing them because of orders from the NSA. Because you got your feelings hurt.
Well, you a rebel, John. They need to stop.
Well, it's like when they stopped spying on Americans, and you know what? I mean, all the intel they had before 9/11, did it help stop prevent 9/11?
Mm-mm.
No.
No. It was still a disaster. Hundreds of years later, we'll still be talking about 9/11.
And they'll be coming up with a umpteenth version of Loose Change, that documentary, saying how our own government was behind it, and they keep on changing it.
Yeah. So let's talk about some local news. What about, what's funny, yesterday I saw online that Dollar Tree is buying up all the Family Dollar stores for $8.5 billion.
I don't know if that's good for the consumer, because I like Family Dollar. Man.
I like Dollar Tree, because everything's a dollar.
Oh, see, I don't see how they can do that.
Family Dollar is not everything a dollar.
They should say Family Dollars. You got your dollars, you want your dollars.
No. See, the good thing about Dollar Tree is they do have a lot of nice stuff. But to me, some things should not be sold in a dollar store. Because if you go to the one out on Hill Road, they have a cooler with meat and eggs and cheese and milk and stuff in it. And Dollar General has a cooler too. And I'm thinking, no.
I bought some minute steaks from a Dollar General about a year or two ago. I ate them up. They're real thin steaks.
Yeah.
They were actually quite good. I mean, I had them in one day I had nothing, just looking around. Oh yeah, I got these in there. But then I paid $1 for, I think there's two or three of them in there.
To me, those things should not be sold in a dollar store.
And my mom's problem with Myers when it first came out is you had all your different stuff in one store.
Well, and I like that, but then that's more of a grocery store versus a dollar store.
Well, see, that's what my mom didn't like, because she didn't like the idea of having groceries in the same shopping basket. You're going to have your sundries and your
your clothes if you want to buy some clothes, or and I like the one-stop shopping, but it's like when I saw that, and I don't like Family Dollar because it's always so junky. It reminded me of the old Value City when they first came on the scene, how they let everything get all messy until the new management came in. But Dollar Tree pretty much keeps everything neat. Now the dollar store over there on Lapeer by Target by me, that one is kind of junky. But the one on Hill Road is really nice.
Oh, that Dollar General up there, that is up on the hill, that was a nice store.
There's a Dollar Tree down there by Meijer, right across the parking lot from Meijer. And then they have a Dollar General up on Saginaw going into Grand Blanc. That parking lot's never full. So it's like, what's going on with that store?
Yeah, they got one too. It's like one out on Corona Road too. Was that a Family Dollar, Dollar General up there?
I don't know. I just don't ever go to Family Dollar because I've had all bad experiences in there.
Well, see, if it weren't for the Family Dollar in this side of town, the bulk of people would have to go one of the. I mean, the Kroger's on Davison and Frank would be busier. But let's face it, they don't. I mean, actually, for your soap products and stuff, Family Dollar is cheaper than even some of the grocery stores around here.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But if you like generic stuff. See, and I'm not a generic detergent user because I don't know what's in there. I'm one of those people, I like to see the label and I like it to be recognizable. If it said Gain and then the other one said Gained, ED, it's like one of those is generic.
I use those little sealed packets.
The little pockets, yeah.
I like those.
I like those too because everything is measured out, and I use liquid Purex. But whenever I find those little packets and they're the same price as the liquid, I get them because they're easier to store.
I use far less. I can actually get a bag of them that lasts me almost 2 months. Whereas if I was getting the bottle,
Yeah, well, you're only supposed to pour a cap in it. It's like my boy, I don't know how much he used in his, but I know he can go through a bottle quicker than I can.
Well, think about it. You get a lot of waste because of stain on the side of the container. You have to actually rinse and pour water into it, from the you know, stick it into the wash tub.
That's at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, swish it out. But I mean, there's there's quite a bit of loss there.
Yeah.
On the sides of the wall of the container. Those packets, they dissolve.
Yeah, that's what I like about them. You just pop one in and you're good to go. Because they even have some that has fabric softener and detergent in the same little packet.
Right.
And I found those some store I saw those at, and I just thought, well, I'm gonna try these too. So the packets are good for storage. You don't have all them bulky bottles.
Right. You can put 7 or 8 bags in the same area.
Right. Yeah. So now they've been having all the protests about our water, the bills and everything, and my water bill still is the same. So
you shouldn't talk about that. If it stays the same.
No, but it's still high.
They're not going to. That's not going to back down there. In fact, it's going to go up.
Well, they already said it was going to go up once the water come from Lake Huron, and they're saying it's not the price of the water, it's the infrastructure and all this stuff. So.
Okay, now I don't understand this. Our federal government is bringing people in from other countries to these children that are like orphans. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing them in. We got a beleaguered already adoption system and a foster care system. I mean, this doesn't exist. I mean, as it should. Then you got all these other things. We're building Afghanistan and Iraq back up.
Yeah.
We're spending billions and billions of dollars to build up the schools in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, I don't even know if there is an open elementary school in the city of Flint.
It seemed like we got maybe 1 or 2 left.
So, yeah, we're supposed to give more to all these countries, but not worry about our own existence. That's absurd, man.
Yeah.
That's what the government's there for, to take care of water and stuff like that, and stuff that we wouldn't want, private enterprise engaging in. Because that's fake. But they might actually be able to deliver the service of water far cheaper than what the government's been doing.
Well, one of the councilmen was saying if we're going to use our own water supply, we shouldn't even be paying a water bill. And I just think that's the best idea yet.
I can understand a maintenance fee. I mean, okay.
But a maintenance fee should be a flat rate.
$10-15 a month.
A flat rate.
Yeah, flat rate. I mean, just my grandfather, my mom's dad, he was a nut job. I mean, basically, he was over in the first ward, where he lived off of Holbrook.
Mm-hmm.
And he was always that's what he ran on, basically. He saw this down the road. I mean, you're talking almost 40 years ago now.
Right.
He was looking at this 45, okay, and he said, I was a little kid. And that's all he railed about is the water department. Well, back then, nobody had issues with the water department. But he said, down the road, it's going to get worse. The rates are going to go up. He said, we're getting the water from Detroit. We should have do this. We should have do that.
Right.
And he was on target.
He right on target.
And he was Dan Kildee one time, Dale Kildee was talking to my mom one time, and he said, your dad was an odd person, and he was very diplomatic, because my grandfather was a freaking idiot. I mean, not an idiot, but he was just insane, okay? But he was right about that. He foresaw the potential disaster that we're looking at. It's a disaster.
Yeah. And the thing is, I saw this little card that shows there's a flat rate of like $53 a month just to have water coming to your house. And anything over that is your bill, how you bill. So you bill $53 no matter what. And me and the neighbor was like, so if we just never use any of our water for a whole month, then we still going to be charged at least $53. And I'm thinking, well, why is that? Why is there a set rate just for us to have water? It's sort of like when you go to the air pumps now, they're a quarter. You used to go to the air pumps for free. So we're getting our own water, and they keep saying what we're paying is for infrastructure, but everybody's bill is different.
Okay, I can understand if it was for infrastructure, if they actually have done something largely to the infrastructure, but we have a lot of water main. In the wintertime, you could just see bursting everywhere.
They do. Last year was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it was all over the place.
And it's just, if the bills are for infrastructure, then how come everybody's bill's not the exact same?
It's not for the infrastructure. I think most people realize that. What it's being used for is before we started going to our own water source, it was to supplement the income of the Detroit city officials. I mean, that's what it was. Now it's...
Well, they're saying it's to get the factory up and running and all that. They have to do all that. But I'm saying, well, shouldn't that have been going on anyways?
That's what I'm understanding, that they should have always had that being properly, decently maintained. So in an emergency, which,
this supposed to be.
Right, because let's face it, you could have had something hit downriver, down the lake shore down there off of the Detroit River area, and it could have been a mass contamination of, like, say, open sewage, raw sewage being dumped in the, and we should have had our source so we can get a clean source of water for our people. So that should never, see, that's the functions of government are very limited in my opinion, and they should just do those and concentrate on them. But now they want to tell you what to eat. They want Michelle Obama to be able to tell you what to eat.
Yeah,
she wants to dictate what you
make
eat.
sure you get up and exercise.
It's like, well, most of us have jobs, Michelle, where we actually have to do something, so we do get some exercise. You might take that in consideration. We don't just sit there and look pretty and,
Well, I try to look pretty.
I know, but I mean, you actually go out and you vacuum your own house.
I've actually done some work.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, if the Obamas did actual physical labor for more than a couple of days, they'd be in the hospital for exhaustion. I mean, that's why any of these politicians are, not just them. I mean, I'm sure Nancy Reagan, or I knew the Fords, they're people, they're like soft people. They never work.
Well, they had a TMZ caught the president in the gym, and they were critiquing his form, and they was like, oh, he's doing so much wrong. And then they were like, well, how did a person get a picture of him and he got security all around him?
Yeah, it was pretty comical.
Yeah, because they was looking at him yawning. Yeah, and he was yawning, and they was making they put the words to him.
He looked like he was a stand-in for one of the guys from Village People. I mean,
it was too funny.
Yeah, I mean, it was pathetic. I mean, Putin's probably laughing his ass off.
Well, Putin,
American,
right?
Little American.
And Putin looks much bigger.
He's actually worked.
Yeah,
he's a judo expert.
He's big.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually worked. He was trained for. I mean, he was let's face it, he's a psychopathic killer. I mean, it's like KGB is not they're not Sunday school teachers.
And then you get to run a country.
Well, the thing is, what's the difference? Most of our politicians are sociopaths.
Well, I don't know. I just think that nobody knows what they're doing. They should put some regular people in there.
That's what I would rather have, a business person, a person who actually had to make payroll.
Yeah.
They demand, like, everybody needs $20 an hour. Gee, can you actually come up? You're going to pay these people to pay that much to their employees? No, then it's unfunded mandate. Shut the hell up.
And it's like with the Obamacare, when they were saying, well, by law, you have to have this insurance plan. If you don't have your own insurance, by law, you have to sign up with this, and otherwise you get penalized on your taxes. And I'm thinking, now, if a person doesn't have a job, they can't get insurance, and they're not going to have any taxes to pay, but yet you're going to penalize them, and you're going to make them pay you $95 for not having insurance that you can't pay for because nobody will give you a job.
Another thing is, too, if you're being forced to buy a product, so insurance companies can basically meet minimum requirements, and they can, you're desperate, so you're going to buy something to avoid that penalty.
Yeah, well, if you
buy inferior products.
Yeah, because if you have your own doctor and they accept that plan, you in good shape. But if you don't have a doctor and you have to get somebody, now you got to find somebody. You don't even know who you're getting. I hate to change doctors. I hate changing dentists. I hate all that. When I get somebody good, I like to just keep them.
See, it's like when I was we had a friend of ours who used to own a drugstore right up in the corner here, though. And the problem is insurance itself, because insurance will pay you, but he had a drugstore, so people get prescriptions filled, and that's put on their insurance. But he charged prices that were higher for the people who were paying out of pocket, and I asked him why, and I was like 15, so this is a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I gotta keep money coming in here so I can pay overhead, my employees' wages,
right,
and upkeep on the building, the utilities on the building, and all that stuff. And he said, and what they paid off at, the problem is insurance companies. Now, I know a lot of doctors, they say across the country refuse to take any more, insurances, and they're just doing basically by pay-as-you-go kind of situation.
Yeah.
And that's going to if they would go more that route. When I was a kid, there used to have the doctor down here on Lewis Street. You paid him per visit. You actually plunked down the money, $20 a visit. But if you needed medication, he'd have, for most things, he had a little pharmacy in his back room. He'd give you all the capsules you needed to go through that treatment.
Right.
In a little envelope with the directions written on the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was maybe $35. That's handleable.
Yeah.
But now waiting for insurance to pay off, so you got to overprice it, so you have money to float because they make their payment. You got to have money to float down the river for a while until they pay you back some more. So I mean it's the problem with is everybody's got insurance or did have, but nobody's employing anybody where they're given insurance as a benefit.
Yeah, I guess that's where the supplementals come in. When people, like I have Aflac, and I like it because, they don't pay the doctors themselves. They pay you for going to the doctor, and they actually give you a check. And I guess that's the only good thing about it, because it depends on what you get, but you still get some of your money back.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and they pay quickly. I mean, within a week or so, make
Yeah,
your claim.
yeah, you file your claim, and if it's not something that they have to request forms from the doctor or, documentation, then you usually get paid within 3 to 5 days. And then if you have to get the documentation, then it takes the time for you to get the forms, and it depends on whether you fax it to them or mail it to them. But, some people, a lot of the companies have it because it works out for everybody.
Yeah, because I just think that I think that basically forcing people, they're thinking people are thinking they're doing them a favor by combating the insurance companies. But what Obamacare really does is actually puts a lot more power into the insurance companies' hands.
Mm.
So I mean, it's like I guess you have to. I guess the insurance company now has to offer a higher product, a higher quality product. They're supposed to, but they just basically up the price.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not helping us at all. It's just a power play on the government's behalf.
Yeah, that's why I said they should just put some everyday people in there, because we probably more logical than they are.
Well, we've actually paid bills. I mean, okay, another thing is too, I'm not just picking Obama, but look, he's the president right now. He and Michelle he was a professor allegedly. They weren't practicing attorneys because they both had to turn in their, I don't think he ever practiced, or one of them had to turn in their basically surrender to the license by by basically the Bar Association or whatever demanded that. And so they started $1 million after they got president into the White House. Now they're worth $14 million? How the hell does that happen?
Well, they do a lot of speaking engagements.
Well, yeah, and if they're doing that now as president, then we're paying for the Secret Service protection, so we should be getting a cut back.
We want to kick back.
Because, if we're paying for them to be able to travel.
Well, that's why they call him the rock star, because he's on all the talk shows and they do circuits like that. So everybody rags on him about being a rock star president, because he's in he's been on Ellen and, Jimmy Kimmel, he's on The View, they start looking at it like that. And so I wonder, how much do they have to pay? How much do they pay anybody like that, higher up like that, to come on those shows?
I don't know if they're supposed to get paid or not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do. They do have good sponsors like Jimmy. I mean, I knew the Tonight Show. They had, major advertising going on. So I mean, that might have been part of it. But I just think that I just basically I want a low-key president. I want a president that realizes he or she can't do everything they want to do. It's all circumscribed with the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and all that stuff. And this guy doesn't seem he wants to even deal with that. He wants to be by mandate, by executive order, and that's going to turn around and bite him in that butt, man. It really is.
Well, he doesn't really run the country, anyways. They put all the presidents in place, but then it's other people that actually run the country. So he's basically just doing what they're telling him.
Yeah, well, basically it's the people who we don't get a chance to elect. I mean, the Federal Reserve System, which is a major power over our lives. It sets the monetary policy. It's just basically a cursory approval that they have to have from Congress to put people in the Federal Reserve System, and these guys are making the decisions that impacts every part of our existence. And it should never have been that way. That wasn't the way the Constitution had set up. So I mean, everybody goes like, well, they roll their eyes, and I say, if we had avoided this, it would have been in the hands of the we'd still had the money possibly for all these welfare programs and domestic programs. But it would have been passed through Congress. Now it's in the hands of a bunch of people who are making buku bucks off of it. So I mean, it's like that should never have been the case.
Why can't I make buku bucks?
Well, you can. You got to go get yourself. We'll get yourself a kind of oddball sounding name like Greenspan.
Oh.
And it's like, and then we'll put you in the right mix, and you probably would actually, the price at a supermarket are. So you'd have to be a better person for it.
Yeah. So anyways, I want to also mention this weekend, Saturday the 2nd, there's going to be a big health extravaganza, and it's the second annual one. I went to the one last year and sort of waltzed through it because it's on that flat lot inside Atwood Stadium. They have a lot of vendors set up, and I'm not sure what all kind of, if they do a lot of different services, or they just give you info about the services. But it was like they, in the middle of the park, in the middle of the stadium, they had like a dancing session. People was doing these different hustles and everything, and it was kind of fun. So it's like a free, fun, family-oriented event, and it's going to be from 10 to 3. And if anybody want any more information about it, you can contact Tanya French Turner at 810-257-3194, and we're going to put that up on the screen, you know, at the end of the show, so that people that may not know about it will get a chance to go over there. Because there was a lot of people, by the time I got there, people were already leaving, you know, it was closer to 3 or whatever. But they did have a bounce house, and they had a bunch of kids doing different things, and they had some police officers over there. I think they talked to the kids or whatever. It was a big event. With this being the second one, I expect it to be even bigger than last year's. So I'm hoping that they get a bigger crowd, and it's very informative, so people can go over and see what they have to offer and ask questions. They had one of my guests was over there showing. Well, you know, she does a what's it called? She does exotic dancing, and then they have like a pole. She show you how to do exercising on a stripper pole and that kind of stuff. So that's fun to watch people do that. Of course, I can't get up that pole.
You ever see that episode of King of Queens when his wife started, Kevin James' character's wife started doing the pole dancing, and she's not good. Okay?
When she was in the bedroom.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
It
was like she always thought she was being seductive.
Right, and she's like falling over. That would be me, because I mean, I see, when I see people do it for exercise, there's been some really nice videos on Facebook of people doing it, and it's really nice, but I just can't do it. So we want to know, I would also like to know, as far as looking into the news, into the celebrity news, I mean, sometimes when you look in the Star, which is my favorite little rag magazine, the same people are always in here, you know, like Kim Kardashian, and now they're showing a picture of her back fat and elbow fat. It's like, what is that? You see this picture of Kim, they showing her back fat and her elbow fat now?
Okay, yeah, no, I didn't see that.
This is the newest one, and they're showing how she's, they said she's all alone, and she's binge eating because Kanye is always gone. He's never home anymore. And somebody asked him, was she having another baby? And she was like, no way. So they already got her marked, you know, like being too prissy. She don't want to get pregnant again because everybody talked about her so bad.
Who the hell would want to get pregnant? I'm serious. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like, I mean, I'm talking to these girls when I'm on I found out where babies come from. We knew all that strain on the body.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm talking to girls out of high school, and they're saying, I mean, they're just guys, they say, I want like 3 children, and they're saying so, like so nonchalantly. I went, you actually want to put yourself through that many times? Are you an idiot? You know?
Well, when you think about people that's had like 10 and 11, I mean, what are they thinking about?
I don't know if, that's the thing. I don't think they think, okay?
Well, because my family is big like that. The ones down south, ones I grew up with, a lot of them have big families, 6 kids, 7 kids. It's nothing to have that.
But down that, basically though, down there, if you're living down Arkansas, you just basically want people that work on the farm. So.
Now hold up, I'm from Arkansas. I only got 1.
Yeah, but
I live up here. I live up here.
It's like, let's face it, you don't have. Let's face it, you don't have a huge farm. You don't have 80 acres, 100 acres.
No.
Well, that's not even huge. That'd be a fine family farm, 100 acres.
Well, this friend of mine that I call my mom has I think she has about 14 acres. It's 2 houses side by side. I think it's like a total of 28 acres. And I told her she always ran this care home, and at one time she had like 8 kids, and then her daughter lived in the house across the driveway, and she adopted a bunch of kids. She had like 12 kids, and she had 3 of her own, and then she adopted the rest. And it would always be like such a big brood going back and forth. And when I see like one person spit out that many, then I'm just like running the other way. I'm just like, no, I don't want to see it.
I just don't understand people. I mean, I think it's almost having a large family is almost irresponsible. But then again, if you can support them on your own, and you really want that many, I can't really knock it. I just, my sister and I are twins. So basically, mom and dad just said, my mom said she wanted 2 extra kids because she had 2 other kids because she had 1 already. And she goes in and she goes, it was one-stop shopping, I guess, basically.
That's why I said if I was going to have twins, I want a boy and a girl because I don't want them playing tricks on me because I probably forget which is which. And they would be playing tricks on me forever and a day. Or I would forget who they are and I'd be like, no, your name is so-and-so. And they'd be like, no, I'm so-and-so. I can see me doing it.
See, the next set of kids, because my parents are in their 30s, and my mom's dad was a twin as well. His twin had died, though, pretty early on. And they said the next set of kids you might have actually might be triplets. So my dad says, screw that, so he got snipped.
They told him if you had twins now, next time around, you might have triplets?
Right, that's what they said. Because it happens, twins and multiple births actually, before they had the advent of the the fertility drugs, they would it's actually more of a genetic factor, plus as you got older, your chances of having children, multiple children at once, increased, especially in families where they had twins already. So I think there's like 3 sets of twins in my mom's side of the family, and there's actually one of my cousin's daughters. She had a set of twins this past year. So it's there. That's lurking. That potential is lurking in that bloodline. So
no. I don't know. I just when I see people that have kids and then they're able to get like nannies and stuff like that, I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, wouldn't that have been nice when I was growing up looking at my grandmother raise all her kids plus me by herself, picking cotton. My neighbor and I was talking the other day about picking cotton, and my son said, did you used to pick cotton? And I'm like, yeah, I pick cotton and chop soybeans. And my neighbor was helping the other neighbor take a stump out, like a shrub stump, and he was hacking it. And I said, and when he ripped it out, I was like, look at that country man go. And he was like, yeah, we from the farm. We did all this kind of stuff. And my son was just standing there looking like, what? He was talking about hooking it to a truck, getting a grinder and everything. I said, all you got to do is dig that out with a shovel.
I've done a few. I've done like about 10 or 12 stumps.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It depends on how deep they are too, because these were shrubs that just went wide. They never trained them to grow. Right. They just put them in the ground and they went for years. So the people that moved there, they end up taking them down all the way to the stump, but then they couldn't figure out how to get the stump out. So my son took one of the stumps out, then there was 3 more left. So he was waiting on the homeowner to help him, and he was like, I can't do it. So the neighbor across the street come over and he said, I can do that. He said, all I need is a shovel and a hatchet. And they ripped them bad boys out.
I've done it quite a few times. I used to work landscaping, and it was...
Yeah, it's hard work, because I was on the porch supervising, and I said, this is what I do. I supervise. So they were laughing at me, and I was like, wait a minute, now watch your ankles. I said, you don't want to hack into your ankles. And he goes, oh, I already did that once.
Oh, it's not easy, man. It's not hard to do. I mean, it's not hard to do.
Well, I didn't want to mess with it, because like I told him, I'm not getting dirty. I didn't get dirt under my fingernails. If it's my yard, yeah, but I'm not going to go over in your yard and hack anything out, risk hitting myself. But anyways, we had fun day today, talk about a bunch of nothing, and I just want to announce one more time about this Saturday, August 2nd at Atwood Stadium, 10 to 3, the Health Extravaganza. It's 2nd annual, so everybody need to go. And if you need more info about it, you need to call Tanya French Turner at 810-257-3194, and we will be putting that up on the screen. So I want everybody to have a good day, and Flaminpit is out.